Yeah, it shows live. Yeah.
Yep, the show's live here. Just make sure it's live on YouTube as well. And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports for On Lockdown. Once again with Isaac Chilemba. Isaac, thank you so much for joining us once again for a
Thank you. Thank you.
lockdown. So, how are you doing after yesterday's lockdown?
Yeah, same old, same old. Yeah, today the president just extended the period, so now we've got extra 2 weeks of lockdown.
Oh dear.
So I guess we just have to deal with it. That's the only way to, uh, to decrease the cases of this pandemic disease. So I think that if that's the only way, we have to deal with it, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit after yesterday, reflecting on yesterday, and then coming
Yeah.
back today. What were the things that went through your mind after you did the interview yesterday?
I was happy because I've got so much in me that sometimes just need to take it out. So it was good just to share. I know sometimes it's hard just to share some personal things, like things I spoke about yesterday, being in rehab and being an alcoholic or something like that. Sometimes it's hard to open up to that.
Absolutely.
But I came to believe that if I really want to cure myself and be be clean for the rest of my life, I have to be honest with myself and not to let it be something I can hide about.
Absolutely. Just, face the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, so it
Absolutely.
was good. I felt good afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I was thankful because it was, this is the first time we ever spoke. And for you to share that
yeah,
information with me the first time round, I was just thankful. I thank God for that, to be able to talk to you on such a level. So now, part two. The reason why I brought you back, because part one, we spoke a lot about like what got you into boxing, and we talked a lot
yeah,
about the challenges you faced in boxing. But I want to talk about some of the other things in boxing. I didn't touch on the fact that you're with the great Roy Jones Jr. Didn't talk about that.
yeah,
Other fights that you had, we really got caught up in that situation with, obviously, and it was an important part of your makeup, an important part of your journey. So people who
yeah.
didn't watch that yesterday can always go back and watch that. So we won't go through all the introductions again. We'll knock straight on. So, at what point did Roy Jones join you in your career?
Um, right now, he's the biggest part of my career, and he's been there for since the beginning of my career.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't there physically, but um, Roy Jones has been my uh, idol for a very long time till today.
Yeah.
He's been someone I look up to. When I began boxing, my coach at that time, my amateur coach, Anderson Kazembe, there was a time of my life when I just started boxing. When I told you after the first loss, my first fight and the loss, and trying to get back.
Yes.
In that period of time, my mother was sick as well, and she had to travel to come to South Africa for medical treatment, and I had no choice, but I have to leave and go live with my father's mother in
Yes.
a village. In a village. That way, I was out of boxing for a while. So their coach, the trainer at that time, the coach, the amateur coach Anderson, came look for me and took me to live with him. So that way, I wouldn't lose the opportunity of learning boxing. he loved me so much and he has so much belief in me that he took me into his house to live with him. And every morning he was a primary school teacher by day, and in the evening he would go to the gym and coach kids. So I would stay at his home, and in the evening we would travel together to the gym, and I would learn boxing. So I lived with him for about 6 months. And in that period of time, all we did is watching boxing. It was my first time to watch real boxing, um, other than movie boxing, like Rocky movies and stuff like that. It was my first time to sit down and watch boxing and know who their fighters are. And I gained so much experience. I mean, learning a lot of things from him, telling me what it means to win a title and when you become a champion. This I learned a lot in that period of time, just as an amateur with one amateur fight. So the first fighter, there was two fighters that I watched that he had on his. I had a lot of couple fights, but the two fighters that stuck in me that I enjoyed most was Oscar De La Hoya and Roy Jones Jr.
Same with me. The
And
same two ones. Yes. I
yeah,
was watching Oscar a second ago fighting Trinidad.
yeah, yeah. That was one of the fights that I watched then. And the best fight of Oscar De La Hoya that I watched that I still refer to till today was when he fought Fernando Vargas.
Yes.
And that was like the best fight of
California that happened. Yes.
Yeah, so I was one day I want to reach to a point where coach himself picked upon himself. One day when I was fighting, later on he started calling me Golden Boy, and he got the whole crowd screaming Golden Boy because he knew I loved Golden Boy so much.
Wow.
So at that time, my ring name was some African name. I was the heart of, I mean, the African lion, something like that. Yeah. And he just started screaming Golden Boy, Golden Boy, to the point where I just I've stuck. I would just stick with Golden. So yeah. So yeah.
Two Oscar De La Hoya fights that come to my mind is the second fight he had with Chavez. I love that.
Yeah.
And and apart from that, also a fight where he fought Ike Corte. When he dropped
Corte. That was one of the good fights.
They dropped him. What a fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
And the 12th round. Oh wow.
Yeah. So since then, I try to copy these guys. Try to fight like they do, and watch them and see what they do, and try to copy. I would stand in the mirror and over again practicing what they were doing. And Rogers for me just stuck out. I was like, I've never seen such amazing speed, and a guy with such endurance and power and the movement. Everything was incredible about him. I mean, till today. I mean, there's a lot of great fighters out there, but I've never seen a fighter with such great slick movements and speed and the timing and everything else. So I loved Roy since then, since I was like 13, 14, and I've been part.
When you think Roy Jones, and you name Roy Jones, which fight comes to your mind straight away?
When I think of Roy Jones, when he fought Vina Pazenza.
Oh, so I say the same thing. Yes.
I've never seen such speed. Yes.
And he finished it with a left up, two left uppercut, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a combination of punches. He jumped and punched him there, uppercut to hook, and put him. I was like, what the? This guy is amazing.
Yes.
And since then, I've had a lot of respect on Roy, a huge respect on him, and every time I try to a point where sometimes, even as a professional, I've never done it much in a fight. In fights, I try to stay as focused as possible, so I don't leave anything. I don't try to create something that could cause a problem or give me a little bit of, causing a mistake. Yes. So, but in a gym, when I'm where I'm free and I can do the whole Roy Jones routine, and everybody someone can walk in and say, that's Roy Jones Jr. I'm like, yeah. Which some of the things that one of the things that I regret, because I know when I try to be Roy in a gym, I really look good and the speed and everything comes about. In a fight, I never use it. I wish I could just put everything out there and try it out. maybe I wouldn't have been in this position today. But I'm always cautious, try to make sure that I don't make any mistake, because I'm fighting like somebody else, not myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Roy, he's the greatest fighter ever to myself. I mean, to me.
I can
Yeah.
understand that. I can totally
Yeah.
understand that. Totally.
Yeah.
So, how did the connection happen between yourself and Roy Jones Jr.? How did that connect from being somebody that you thought about and idolized to somebody who actually ends up being physically in front of you?
What happened is we were working with Buddy McGirt, and at that time we were offered to fight Sergey Kovalev for Unification Championship, and I don't know what exactly was going on, because I was in South Africa and Buddy was in States, and every time we've got a fight, we'll go to States. I'll go to States for a camp for a couple of weeks before the fight. But my manager and I, we sat down and we thought about it. The fight would be in Russia, and Russia is a couple hours away from South Africa.
Mhm.
And we looked at everything. Those were some of the things that we look at. We look at altitude, and we look at the time change and everything else. And we figured out that training in Los Angeles, the altitude was even lower than where the fight was going to be.
Right.
While South Africa was a hassle, we had a little bit of an advantage to have our camp here in South Africa. And also, the time difference is just 2 hours, and it wasn't so far from here to Russia than leaving US. So we worked around. So we spoke to Buddy, said we would like to have a camp in South Africa, and Buddy didn't agree with the idea, and he cast us out. He was like, "I'm not going to do it." So I said, "Okay, fine." Then well, I end up just training with Jody, because she's the one that I always train with. I train with when I'm here in South Africa. We train, and she knows everything about me, because from beginning she's been there and she knows everything. So we worked on, and then we went to Russia and fought Kovalev. Then when we come back, she was saying, "But I know," she told me, "I know I can train you. I know you're happy with me training you without having another trainer like we did with Buddy or other trainers. But I just want you to have a trainer. So let me speak to the guys." And at that time, we met Roy once in New York, years back, about 2, 3 years before that. And we stayed in touch. So Jody contacted Roy and asked him what he think working with us. And Roy was very happy to come on board.
Wow.
And that was it. Yeah, the next thing we were flying to Pensacola to train with Roy. And it was such a great moment.
You're there. I mean, I've had that moment myself, not so much in boxing, but you're standing in front of a person that you've admired all these years, or you're thinking all these videos you've watched him fight, and then you're there, you're standing in front of him. What do you say to him? Do you go and hug him? Do you shake his hand? Do you bow?
I don't know if it's a pride in me, but I try to act as cool as possible. But deep inside, I'm.
You'll do it. You'll do it. Well, yeah, Roy. How you doing?
I'm like, yeah, Roy. Nice to meet you, and I'm very happy that you give us an opportunity to work with me and stuff like that. But deep inside, I'm burning. I just want to scream over them. That star. What I don't know whether it's star strike or something like that. It's going on inside me, but I just want to act cool. Like, okay, I'm okay. So.
I'm like Chilemba, and
I just belong, Yeah, it was such an amazing.
Wow. So the first conversation with yourself and Roy, what does Roy say to you in terms of, he obviously knows who you are as a fighter, but what does he say to you? What's his? I mean, he at that point in time, he could have said, because you've got such reverence and such respect for a guy in that position, he could say things to you that could totally destroy your career, because you've got such respect for him. You could be like that, because just because a person's a great fighter or great singer or great actor, or it doesn't mean they're actually a nice person, and it doesn't equal them being a good trainer either. So it's all very much,
Yeah. One of the things, the first thing I can recall that Roy said to me was, one of the things I had a problem, I had an issue when I worked with Buddy, and Buddy was one of the best trainers I ever worked with. online.
without a doubt.
And yeah, that like I enjoyed every moment I worked with Buddy, and I learned a lot from Buddy. Besides his other issues, but I enjoyed every moment with it. I learned a lot from Buddy
Yes,
McGirt.
yes.
But one of the things that he used to say when I started being Roy Jones in the gym, he used to say, "Chilemba, you're not Roy Jones. There's only one Roy Jones Jr. and he's himself. Don't be like someone else. Be yourself." I'm like, but this is what I know. This is since I was 13. I built up myself, picking up his style, and it
Yeah.
just took with me to a point where it's like my style. And I was like, no, just be Chilemba. So every time when we're sparring or I'm hitting the bag and I come up with it, he can just see it from mile away. He can see I'm being Roy on the bag. And he come, Chilemba, stop it. You're not Roy Jones Jr. And one of the things Roy said to me was to affirm, to confirm that I wasn't being Roy Jones Jr., even though the moves, if I start doing it, everybody else can just see Roy in me. But I
Yeah.
wasn't being Roy Jones Jr. It was something that I picked up and I built it up into me to make me a fighter. So that was me um, using Roy's moves and stuff like that.
But to
So
see the
he
reason,
just tried.
yeah, one of the, from a coaching perspective, one of the reasons why Roy would have told you that was because when you got in the ring, you would fight as Isaac Chilemba. You wouldn't fight as Roy Jones. You would
Yeah,
revert to who you actually are.
yeah, yeah,
Fair,
and
hit. So you'd never improve who Isaac Chilemba is, but you'd improve this guy, Roy Jones Jr., who you never were going to take in the ring with you. So
yeah.
I Roy
So
out straight away.
yeah, that was what I built up myself from the day I can remember as a fighter. That's all I knew. So it was me, even though it was Roy's moves, but it became part of me.
Wow.
Yeah. So he just encouraged that, and other things. It's his ideas behind boxing as well. It's just amazing. Like sometimes I can till today I still can't figure it out. His mentality behind boxing.
So the next question is, did you ever get in the ring and spar with Roy Jones?
We have done drills, but not full out sparring now.
Have you ever had the urge to go, Roy, just once? Just
um,
but just
no,
don't Virgil Hill me. Don't Virgil Hill me, please.
no, no. Listen, Roy is quick. At his age today, it's not easy to touch him still. He's smart. Like sometimes we do drills, and I'm like, okay, I know he knows what we're working on, so we're doing drills in front of each other. There's no other extra punches than what we're doing. But can I just throw it quick enough to catch him a bit so I can say, yes, I hit Roy Jones Jr. in the face? Never happened. He's so smart. He's so quick, and you know. And also on top of it, I've felt his punch every now and then when he touches, when he hits you, you can feel it. I'm like, no, I don't want to start anything with this guy. If I hit him, I know he's gonna hit me back, and I don't want to take those shots. The guy hits
Yeah.
hard. The guy
What's
hits
the
hard is better.
what's the I mean, right, so you're working at Intimate with Roy. What are the things that not Roy Jones the fighter, let's put him to one side a second. Roy
Yeah,
Jones the trainer, right? That's what I'm
yeah,
really find out more about. What is he like as a trainer? I mean, you've got Bonnie the Burt. We know he's a Hall of Fame trainer. He's going to be. Let's talk about now Roy Jones as the trainer.
Roy Jones as a trainer. This is what I was called. I call him a grandmaster. uh, like that he's calm. That's one of his character. He's calm, and he doesn't lose it if you don't get what he's trying to show you.
Mhm.
He takes his time. He can spend a month try to get you to perfect one thing, and but also he's got a knowledge behind it, knowing that if you can't get it after such certain period of time, that means you cannot get it. Now it's better just to leave it aside and try something else. So he
Wow.
said, okay, you try this and that, and if you can't get it, we'll repeat couple times. If you can't get it, then leave it. That's not for you. We'll try something else. So that's one some of his things, and this the other things is I say I call him a grandmaster because his ideas they're based on something out of everything else out of boxing itself. Like we all think about boxing. If the guy charges at you, you do this. If the guy is moving back, you do this. And we look at other fighters and you look where to hit and stuff. He's not like that. He looks at external things. Most of the most important thing that you look at is animals. He watch animal documentaries
Behavior.
every day. Yeah, he looks at their mentality, how they attack, what's their ideas behind when they're about, I'll give an example like lions, how they spread each other, and they know who's gonna set out first, who's gonna charge first, and who's gonna actually catch the prey, all that. So he works all on that and see, and he tried to get you to understand your animal as a human, your animal abilities, and work
Yes.
around it.
I get
Yeah,
that. I hear that. I hear that. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he always called me a wild dog or a hyena, simply because he knows a lack of natural power. Most guys who were raised, they were born with natural power. Like they crack you, like
Yeah.
GGG or Kovalev himself. When they crack you, you know they hit. They
Yeah.
were born with it. There's nothing you can do about that. It's not like they push weights or something that can give them power. They were born like that. And you get guys like me that lack of that pop power. But thankfully, God gave me a bit of speed and eyesight. I can see things. I can react quicker. And one of the things is I've got a stamina. As I mentioned to you yesterday, that running is my best. Is my best tool to get fitness. So I run a lot, and my fitness is always at that high point. So he called me a hyena or wild dog because he said wild dogs they don't have that much strength, but wild dogs once they they see a target, they go for it until they get it.
Wow.
And wild dogs never get tired. They can run. They might not run as a cheetah as fast as a cheetah. No, they can run at 60 miles per hour, but they can keep that speed the whole day. They can run at 60 kilometers,
Wow.
60 miles per hour the whole day without slowing down or anything. They'll just keep on going. So that's why because he knows that once I'm fit, I can just keep going. I can just keep going. Even if you get to 12th round and they said no, we're gonna add 4 more rounds, I wouldn't be bothered by that. I can still go for 6 more extra rounds. So and
Wow.
I'm persistent. I'm persistent with my. Once I know that this gonna work, I'm persistent with it. So he describes everybody with with animals behind it. Like himself, he calls himself like as a tiger because he said he doesn't believe that he's ever been fit, which I always disagree with him. He said he was always unfit in his fights, but he knows he takes his time like Wildcats does. They take time looking at the target, and once they see a target, they jump on it, and then make sure once they jump on it, they don't
Finish it.
miss. Yeah, that's his idea. He built himself like that. Like he takes his time, and once he sees the target, he go for it. He goes all out. He doesn't leave a room for any error.
Yeah.
So
That's incredible.
yeah.
So
So that was yeah.
go ahead.
Now, so I was gonna say that was like an eye opener to me to think about animals like that. Like yeah, every time since then I started going to the animal channels and watch animals, see their behaviors and what they do, and try to apply to everything I do.
So what did Roy want of you when you fought Kovalev? What did he expect of you?
He saw that I was fit in that fight. The only thing that was lacking behind his um, executing the ideas that I had. He could see that we worked on ideas. Me and Jody, we had a good camp here, 12 weeks of training, and we built up our game plan, our ideas. So the only thing that I lacked in that fight is just to execute what we planned. I took my time and we just sluggish until the end of the fight instead of doing what exactly I was supposed to do. And that's one of the things that he mentioned that it doesn't have to take. I don't have to take the whole hour just to execute one thing. I have to give it a round or two, yes, but when you get an opportunity, let it go and see what happens if you do so.
Okay. So you're facing Sergey Kovalev, the reputation, the crusher, big puncher, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about him going into the fight? Obviously, this is the guy that everyone's fearing. What are your thoughts about Kovalev and
Um,
power?
One of the things that I knew before that is everybody was talking about his power, and yes, I've seen Kovac knocking guys out. But one thing I know about myself, power doesn't bother me. I don't even care if you, I don't, no matter how hard you hit. I always say, yeah, I can't say I'm immortal, I could never go down or I could never be knocked down. But I always say, if you drop me, I always come back up. And if you ever want to knock me out, make sure that when you hit me with a shot, I don't get up out of, I don't get back up in within those 10 counts. So I knew that I've got that in me that I could take his power. But on top of that, I knew that I was fit, and we worked on our defense not to get caught with unnecessary shots from Kovarev. So I had it all in my pocket. I knew that I went into the fight 100% sure that I was going to upset the world. Unfortunately, I just lacked a bit to execute what we worked on.
So, how hard does Sergey Kovalev punch, in your opinion?
As I said, I told you yesterday, I don't do a few punches. I mean, I went down, I know, but I didn't actually. I can say he's a hard puncher because he actually took me down. But it was a shot when I got caught. I didn't feel a thing than just I just felt losing balance. I was like, what the hell is going on with me? And part of me was saying about time I told myself to stand still. Then I was like, no, if I stand still, he's gonna come. Like I thought quickly, if I stand still, he's gonna come try to finish off. And if I'm losing balance now, that means something is wrong. So let me just go down and get back up and see what's happening. So the power itself, no, I can't. Um, I can't really say he hits hard. I say I only feel the power to determine how hard the guy hits is when I'm in sparring because I'm relaxed and I feel most of shots. And I can tell you, like when I sparred with Arthur Beterbiev in Canada, he's one of the hardest hitters. There was times where we're sparring and you hit even you hit the guards. I'll get out and you hit permanent. I'll feel like, geez, this guy, he's a truck.
Kovalev and Beterbiev, who hits harder?
Beterbiev. That guy is a monster.
Wow. In terms of the jab, Ruben Guerrero asks the question, how good is Kovalev's jab? People talk about it, but how good is it?
A jab is a jab. I don't know. He's not as fast as I expected to be. But yes, he's got a good jab. That irritating jab just to set up to open up the target. He's got that jab because he always put it in your face, always put it in your face. But is it a good pop jab? No.
One of the guys we've actually had on the channel before he became, before he became world champion was Dmitry Bivol, a guy that I think pretty decent, pretty good, arguably the best at the moment at the top. What are your thoughts on Dmitry Bivol?
Dmitry Bivol, I know I fought him, I lost to him, but it was all my fault in that night to lose the fight. He's one of the fighters that I still regard as kids.
Yes.
I always say the kid. Yeah, he's not there yet. Yes, he's good, but he's not as smart as other fighters that I fought. In that night, if I was myself, I could have taken him out easier. I could have make him look as like an ordinary fighter. He's not. I could even say that. What's his name? Alexander Godzek.
Yes.
Which I lost to due to my elbow injury. I mean, my injury.
Yes.
I think Godzek is even better than Bivol.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Interesting.
Our opinion of the guy who fought both guys.
But you fought both men, so you would know.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like right now, if I could get a chance to fight a Bivol again, yeah, he won't stand a chance.
You know, the one fight I would like to see you in is against Sullivan Barrera, and I don't know why. I'd love to see you and Sullivan Barrera fight.
Yeah, there was a moment where there was a talk. We were about to sign a contract, and I don't know what happened. It didn't work out. I never get to the inside to it. Man, I don't know. I didn't know he's still fighting. I thought he was retired for a while.
Okay. Joe Smith Jr.
Nah, I mean, if I get a chance, if his rating is high, because right now my ratings went a little bit lower, I will fight him. But it's not a fight that I could say I want to fight him. No, I mean, I sparred with him a couple of times. He's one of the kids that I'll just play with in the gym.
Okay, we can move on from that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
let's talk British fighters. We
yeah.
have Anthony Yard. What do you think of Anthony Yard's performance against Sergey Kovalev?
He gave Kovalev a good fight. I think, in my opinion, in that fight, he just gassed out. He was tired. The knockout that he got from the jab, I mean, it was just out of exhaustion. It wasn't because the punch was hard or anything. He's got a talent. The only thing I can say about Yard, he's just a bit rigid.
Bit rigid.
Yeah, yeah, he's just a little bit rigid. He's not that fluid. But he's a smart fighter. He knows his way around the ring, and you know, he's one of the guys that I would like to fight as well because he's still high ranked.
So Yard is one you would definitely like to fight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a talk about it for a little bit, but never happened. And I would like to get an opportunity sometime soon.
What do you think? What do you bring to the table in a Yard fight? How do you think your skills fit with a Yard, for example?
You know, I was asked this before, but the guy who asked me the question put it like this into me. He said, "You and Yad got similar style." And at first, I didn't understand what he meant, and I looked at Anthony Yard, and I saw, yeah, we stand similarly, and stuff. He said, "What would you do in that case?" Then it brought back my mind, went straight back when I fought what's his name, the guy in Canada. What's his name? I forgot his name. He had a similar style. We've got a similar style, and for some reason, that just looking at a guy who stands a little bit like me and having in my face, it was like looking myself in the mirror. Just took my mind away. Um, I don't know why I forgot his name. I might be going past drunk.
What's his name now? Caparello?
No, not Capoeira. No, in Canada. He's from South America, but he lives in Canada.
No,
Alvarez.
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 That's it, Alvarez.
Yes. Yes. So when this guy asked me about Anthony Yadi and told me that you've got and mentioned that we've got similar style, the first thing that came to my mind was like, yeah, I know how I felt when I fought Alvarez. Looking at the guy standing similar to me, it was a little bit just put me off a bit. So what I would do fight with him is just to overcome that. That's the only thing I have to do.
What do you think of Alvarez's first performance against Kovalev and then his second performance against Kovalev?
His first performance against was great. He confused Kovalev completely with his movement to the side and stuff like that. Kovalev didn't know what hit him.
Yes.
Then in the second fight, the only mistake he made was to come exactly the same as he was in the first fight. So Kovalev actually adjusted himself, but Alvarez looked the same, which was the biggest mistake.
What's your thoughts of Joshua Boateng?
Joshua Boateng, I wouldn't lie, even the name go off a bit, so I wouldn't say I know much about him yet.
A guy from the UK I rate very highly, and I don't know why he doesn't get more plaudits, is Callum Johnson. He fought Beterbiev. He dropped Beterbiev.
Oh, right. Oh, he dropped him first round, but he got stopped later on. Okay, I remember. For me to say that, I have to watch him again. I think that was the only fight I saw him in, and I didn't pick much out of him
for a whole year. And the fight before that, he knocked out a guy called Frank Buglioni in one round.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about him up until that fight when he fought Beterbiev, and after that, I just to just like one of those fighters fought Berbia, but didn't like pay much attention to him. So right now, I wouldn't want to comment on something that I have no
You're not
knowledge
touching.
on.
So okay, if
Yeah.
you get 3 fighters, before I even get to that point, I was thinking last night and early today, before I came to do this interview, I thought, how would you do against Billy Joe Saunders, the WBO super middleweight champion?
So middleweight champion. I don't know. Billy Joe Sanders, he's got the style that I love fight. I love to fight. I like ordinary stand-up fighters that just come towards you and just throw it. I love fighting. I know sometimes you can be smart, move around, and do some slicker moves, but if I get an opportunity on it, I think it can be one of my easiest fights. To be quite honest, I'm not meaning to sound, trying to sound like something big here, but that's my own opinion.
Callum Smith.
Same thing. Same thing.
What do you
Like
who's the fight between Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders?
I think Billy Joe Sanders will take the fight.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
he's smart in his own way. He is smart fighter.
Okay. Marcus Brown.
Uh, I know there was a moment where they want me to fight him, but didn't go any further. They just mentioned in one of the talks. Uh, he's the opponent I could ever face. I know he's tall, southpaw and stuff, but he's a work, I could say.
Okay. The one fight I would love you to have is against Jean Pascal.
Against Pascal, that
Yes.
would be a gradual fight. You know, yeah, yeah. I would love to fight Pascal as well. I mean, as I said yesterday, he was one of the guys that gave me a hope in boxing.
Yes.
After my injury and I was going through the recovery, and I went to spar with him.
Yes.
So, and I know I cannot base anything on sparring because, like I know myself, I spar different to what I do in the fight. Because in the sparring, I've got nothing really to gain than just, I mean, really nothing to lose than just to learn from sparring yourself. So I can say if I handled him with one hand and yeah, out of surgery, I mean, going through surgery, I mean, going through recovery and all of that, that means I can take him in the fight easy? No, I can't say that, but he's one of the top fighters that I would like to fight. And I know he's like a pit bull. He jumps on you and he just keep going and stuff like that. So that's why I say it would be a grudge fight. It could be a match of the decade, I think. And I would love to get an opportunity to fight him as well.
Do you think you'll get that opportunity to fight him?
I don't know. Right now, after what happened with my career for the last couple of years, um, uh, things have gone down. Like right now, I've got no say on who I can pick who I want to fight. I've
Yes.
got guys that can pick me to fight, but I can't pick who I want to fight because I'm not in that position yet. So I don't know. I hope it's gonna happen. Or I just have to have one or two good fights, big fights, to get back in a position where I can point out and say, okay, I want to fight him, and
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canelo's addition to the light heavyweight division, even if it may have been a cameo role, what do you think of that?
I think that was a good. What I can say.
Business deal?
Um, a good risk he could have taken in his career, and I think that would be one of the things that you hold out for the rest of his life. That he actually went up to light heavyweight, and not only going up to light heavyweight, fought at light heavyweight, but he fought a guy who was known as the hardest puncher in so in light heavyweight history, and he stopped the guy. I know here I had debate with the guys. I feel users that I didn't put my money on because I had three guys that wanted us to put money on. Three of those guys, they said Canelo was going to get knocked out, and I told them no way Canelo is going to get knocked out. I know how it feels when you move up a division, the speed. One of the things that the biggest killer in boxing is speed. And if you're a smaller guy, you're always faster than the bigger guy. And coming up division, you're fighting the guy who's used to the speed of light heavyweight, and you as a smaller weight, you're faster than that guy. And I told the guys, I wasn't sure about the knockout, but I said, you'll be surprised. You might be surprised if Canelo could stop Kovalev. And boom, we were watching together. And I know the guys said, let's put man on it. I was like, I know, I hate putting man on things like that. Okay. And we were watching fight together, and there it goes.
As you know, your nemesis, Tony Bellew, went on to become WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World.
Yeah.
How would Tony Bellew have done if he stayed at light heavyweight and fought the same guys you fought? What would have happened?
I don't think he was going to win that WBC title. I mean, you saw what happened when he fought Adonis Stevenson.
Yes.
I think, yeah. So I think one of it was him dropping so much weight, because we all know as an amateur he fought as a heavyweight. So I don't know if it was weight, it was dropping so much weight, or it was to do that he reached the point where he couldn't compete with the same speed. Because the higher you get, you deal with the guys that they bit slower than light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it could be either it was his weight issues or the speed. He just couldn't handle the speed at light heavyweight anymore. And when he moved up to cruiserweight, he became the fastest cruiserweight fighter, because he just came from a lower division. And that was the best move he could have made in his career. And, I give him a shout out to him.
So physically, when you fought Bellew, did you feel the difference? Because he wasn't a light heavyweight, but he was a heavyweight in a light heavyweight body. Could you feel that difference?
No, not really. I mean, I could say the night of a fight that he was bigger than he was at the weigh-in, and I knew that he probably regained a lot of weight. But if you lose so much weight, no matter how much you can gain back in 24 hours, it's not a real weight. It's just water, retaining water and stuff. So I didn't really feel much difference in the size.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it easy for you to get down to super middleweight now, or do you struggle?
Yeah, no, it's easy. Like my next fight, I fought at super middleweight. I was meant to fight Fedor, the Russian kid, Fedor something. I was scheduled to fight this month, but since all fights have been cancelled, we're just waiting for the day that we can get back on the board, and we'll fight, because the contract is signed already. It's having our fight at super middleweight. It's easier for me. I just don't enjoy the idea of losing so much weight.
Oh.
I just don't enjoy it. I hate sitting for hours without eating, or just eating really bit, trying to maintain my weight and stuff like that, and going through the whole process. I love to wake up in the morning, have breakfast, go for weigh-in, come back and treat it as a normal day. I don't like waking up in the morning and the first thing I do when I wake up to step on the scale and see I've got a few more a few more grams to go, and I have to still run before weighing. I don't enjoy that. But it was a good fight that I was offered, and his name is Fedor Chudinov, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Chudinov.
Yes.
He fought. Is that Chudinov that fought Groves?
Yeah. Yes, he fought Judge Groves. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got a contract signed already. We just.
How do you think
we're just waiting for the? Now I will take him easy. I mean, I'm not as fit as I was a few weeks ago when I was about to fight, but I'll make sure I'm that fitness level again when the fight has been rescheduled.
Fantastic. One other question: Kovalev is rumored to be moving up to cruiserweight. Could you make cruiserweight?
In my last fight, I fought at cruiserweight. It was the most uncomfortable feeling, but I fought as cruiserweight.
Okay.
Like I mentioned yesterday, I was a little bit of chubby kid in my first professional fight. Yeah, my first professional fight it was a cruiserweight. I fought at the 4 kgs. Then from there on, I started dropping weight up until I went down to super middleweight. So in my last fight, I fought another Russian guy, Alexander Kubich.
Okay.
And I fought him at cruiserweight. It was very uncomfortable to fight so heavy because even in sparring, I don't normally spar while I'm like 86, 87 kgs. I've never, mostly I feel good when I'm like 84, 85. And in this fight, the night of the fight, I was at just over 86 kgs and it was very uncomfortable. There's some experience that I don't have and I never want to experience again. I'm good at light heavyweight or maybe middleweight or try silver middleweight again.
Okay, fair enough. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we end our lockdown for tonight?
The only thing I can say is I really appreciate your time, and it's been great talking to you. Such I can lighten up with this.
Yes.
As I say, I was just sitting here with my dogs and just this quarantine and do some exercise indoors. But just now I got to to chat with you. So it's been a great moment. And hopefully, when all of this is over and we get back into fighting, and actually my fight has been rescheduled, we can talk again about that fight.
We can actually talk about you. All I want to see is you with a belt, a world title. That's all I want to see.
I will definitely do that. Thank you very much.
Isaac Chilemba, as always, thank you so much for talking to BWT.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. I really appreciate it, man.
People in the room appreciate you as well. If anybody's got a message to Isaac before we finish, please do drop your little message in the comment section so we can pass it on to Isaac before we finish. I'll give people a moment just to type in their message.
Okay.
So while that's going on, I'll wait for people's comments to come through. Isaac, as an African fighter, just to tie time over, as an African fighter, what are the things that you think has made your career a success in terms of obviously fighting from South Africa and getting from South Africa to be able to fight across the world? Apart from your ability, what else do you think it's been the reason as to why you've been able to travel around the world and be the guy that you are?
It's been that the ambition, that hunger, the desire to become something else. I knew that there is some great fighters out of Africa. Most guys I knew, they were great in Africa and they ended up in Africa. They didn't make up to that level in the world. And there's few, like you can count them with one hand, those guys that made it to that level, that the breakthrough, went all over the world and fought every great fighter they could fight.
Yeah.
So I had a desire in that I want to be one of those guys, or even the best out of Africa, going out, take every challenge that I can get in my way, and go through every challenge that I can. And we did that. Fortunately enough, I had the great manager I could get on planet Earth, Jody Solomon, and she made a promise to me that if you keep on working hard as you do, I will get you wherever you want to get. And yes, we did. We did it. I can only thank her for that.
Fantastic. Ruben Guerrero says, great story. We'll definitely follow your career more closely.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Okay. Isaac Chilemba, thank you so much for talking to BWT in Sports.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one, man.
Take care, champ. All the best.
Sure, thanks.